to me today. This is
Absolutely,
Cheryl
I'm
Lundgren.
honored.
We have some worms from the microcosm. And yeah,
You want to give these guys some worms?
we can do
These
that.
are the younger ones. So I like to get them worms and insects and extra protein because they're still growing. Oh boy, don't you like that? Is anybody else going to come for a worm?
So I know that some of the students had a question about turtles. What kind of turtles are these that you have?
Well, these are box turtles. And these are a cross between two different kinds of box turtles. These little guys are going to be 4 years old this month.
Oh,
And when they first start out, they're just about the size of a quarter. Very small. So they do grow, you might say, rapidly. But it does take them a while to come to a reproductive stage, about 7 years old.
okay. So they can't start having babies or siring babies until
That's right.
offspring until they're about 7 years old.
That's right.
And so I see that you've got some lettuce and
Yeah, this is one of their
What do
meals
they
that they
eat?
like. It's got lettuce, romaine lettuce, and it's got carrot pieces, and it has grapes in it. It's not their favorite meal. Their favorite meal is earthworms and crickets and natural kinds of foods. They really take to that. And they're able to find their own food out here as well. I've landscaped it so that they can have shade and they have protection and they can catch their own food if they need to.
and water.
Oh,
You always
they
have
love
water
that.
around
Oh,
for them.
fresh water daily, yes.
Okay.
That's right, over here. And then we built these little cubbies and they really enjoy going into those at nighttime. And that helps to protect them.
What different types of box turtle are there?
There are several different types. This is a cross between a Western Ornate, and that's the kind you find here in Texas and in the Midwest. Turtle. The father is an Eastern box turtle, and I'll introduce you to him just real soon. And I'm so pleased with the outcome. They're beautiful and very healthy and robust turtles. But turtles are becoming less and less. You don't see turtles crossing the road as often as you used to. Some have been declared either endangered or there just aren't as many of them. It's actually against the law to take a turtle, any kind of turtle,
Okay.
out of nature. The ones that they sell in the pet shops, market and such, those have been raised, on a manufacturing type basis,
Okay. Okay. So one of the questions that a student had was, if you do see a turtle like in the middle of the road, should you help it, and if so, how?
You put him in the direction that he's going, because more than likely, if it's a male, it's probably early spring, and he's out looking for food and a mate. If it's a female, a little bit later in the season, then it's probably a female, and she's looking for just the right place to lay her eggs.
Okay.
So put him or her just right on the other side of the road in the same direction that it was going in the first place. Now, if somebody gives you a turtle, or you just find one at a park or wherever, then make sure you put the turtle somewhere where there's water for them, and then they'll probably find their own food from there. But no, it's kind of sad that they're declining in numbers.
Well, you mentioned males and females. How do you tell the difference between a male and a female box turtle?
Oh, now this is an interesting one. Let's go get Edison.
Okay.
He's the dad of these little babies. This is Edison. He's an Eastern Ornate box turtle, and he's a male. And how do you tell it's a male? Look at those red eyes. Males will usually have red eyes. I've seen just a few females that have light red eyes, but it's pretty much standard that the males have red eyes. And look at the coloring. Look how nice and bright he is on his feet, on his head.
I bet
On
the
the
females
top of
really
his
dig
shell.
that coloring.
They really dig this guy. Yeah, he's really hot. Beautiful markings on the side. Now this part, the top shell, is called the carapace. The bottom is called the plastron.
Now, doesn't the plastron also have something special about it that allows the males to mate?
Well, the plasters is special and more than just that. They're called box turtles because they have a hinge right here on the plastron. And when they get startled or frightened or feel that there's danger, they will put their front paws in and their head goes in, and the shell goes up and over and protects them. Now, the box turtle is the only turtles that can do that. Tortoises can't do that. Okay. Also, there's one more thing about the plastron. If you can feel this, see this, it's indented. And this is because this will the female shell will fit right into here, and they can get a good fit on her shell with his claws. Okay, I'll see you later. Okay? All right. Thank you. Now let's go over to where I have the females. But this is a Western Renate. You're going to find her in Texas and in the Midwest. And you notice that her markings are very different than Edison's markings, the Eastern Ornate. And this is because they live in different types of habitats. The Edison, the Eastern Ornate, will be living in like forested areas, maybe with the leaves coming down on the ground, and he can camouflage himself that much better. Now, she lives like out in the fields, wheat fields, or along the brooks and the rivers and such. Doesn't need as much water to drink. So she has different markings that will help her camouflage and protect herself. Now, see, she's got different markings on the bottom on the plastron, and she doesn't have the concave, but she does have a shorter tail. And her claws aren't as long either as the males.
It seems like she's a little bit shyer than Edison, too.
She is. That's just part of her personality. I could say that almost every turtle I have has just a little bit different personality. And that's one thing that makes them so interesting. This is the common three-toe turtle. You find these in Texas as well. They're quite widespread. She's a female. She's got those beautiful brown eyes. She's got that short tail. She has kind of longish claws, but that's not because of any reproduction process there, but that's just the way it is. I'll tell you, she uses her back legs when she digs the hole for her eggs. And that's a very interesting process. Do you want to go into that now, Dr. G?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay. It's the later part of spring and I've got food, and now I'm ready to find a mate. So they get kind of restless, and it will take several nights for them to find just the right place to dig a hole and lay her eggs. There are so many abandoned nests in here. But what she does, when she's ready, she digs a hole with her back legs. And that hole is as deep as her back feet are long. Mm-hmm. That makes sense, right? And then she's ready to lay her eggs. The eggs they're pure white, almost translucent, but they're as big as my thumb is. And she'll lay around 4 or 5. The bigger turtles lay 6 or even 7 eggs. But that takes up much of the inside part of her body, and it's all contained within that shell. So no wonder they're restless. This is the late May, and then in August, September, maybe October, I've even had little ones hatch in November. The little babies come up. It takes about 3 months for them to incubate. And they just kind of pop up out of the ground, but yet, when they come up out of the ground, they are about 2 weeks old. They stay in the ground for 2 weeks. They have like an umbilical sac on the bottom on the plastron. And that gives them food for 2 weeks so that their shell can harden, because being inside of an egg, they're kind of folded over. They're very flexible.
So that helps protect them from predators then.
Well, they're a tan color, or a tannish, grayish color. And the same color as the soil. And about the only way you can see them is if they move. And that's how I find them. And that's so exciting to find a baby turtle. I just can't tell you.
So what's a predator for your box turtles, or box turtles in general?
Well, even in the backyard, you can get predators. Raccoons love turtles. I don't like raccoons. But there's also skunks. Anything that digs and finds eggs, they'll eat the eggs, and they'll eat the little ones. Possibly a large snake.
And so one of our questions is what is a baby turtle called?
Good question. A baby turtle is called a hatchling. And then you call it a hatchling for its first year of life. After that, it becomes a yearling. And then after that, it's a juvenile. And it's a juvenile for like 3 or 4 years until it can mature. And then it's an adult turtle.
And so, yeah, turtles can live for a very long time. A lot of our students already know that. Do you know why that might be compared to other animals?
Well, the turtles being able to pull in, being a box turtle, that gives them excellent protection from predators.
Yes, I suspect that one of the reasons that they can live so long is linked to their ability to heal.
You know, yes, I think so.
Can I show them Allie? May I pick her up?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Here we go.